Okay. First thing I have to do is ruin Destil's day. From time to time, when running Flumph, I say something like, go ahead and take the benefits of a long rest.
Okay.
Okay. And when I do that, you guys take the benefits of the long rest, I'm sure. You go in and use your hit dice and get your spells back and all the good stuff. Destil, from now on, when you hear me say, take the benefits of a long rest, you must first roll a d20.
Mm-hmm.
On a 1 to a 19, you can take the benefits of the long rest.
Mm-hmm.
On a 20, ...
Okay. That's fine.
Oof.
On a 20, you get to level up immediately.
Sounds like Nodal's going to be a lot more fun to play.
Not for me.
Killian had to do that.
Treble,
Yeah, but
you-
Killian wasn't working with acid every long rest.
No. He just
Also, I think Killian was probably immune to acid.
Killian was working with mayonnaise every long rest, though, so it wasn't that different.
Nodal. Nodal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oof.
the thing,
Like that caused me physical harm. Like the cringe was real.
my favorite thing about that joke is it's funny either way you interpret it.
Wait, I'm missing something. Who's Killian?
I'm also missing some. Who is Killian? We don't know. Could be anyone, really. I was curious about which two ways Treble is interpreting, though.
All right. Do you want to go down that rabbit hole?
No.
I love rabbit holes.
No rabbits.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I always pick 10.
Oh, goodness.
I was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how dangerous do you want this conversation to be?
How dangerous do you want this rabbit hole to
You
be?
guys are going to get me kicked off Twitch. That's what's going to happen. You're going to get me kicked off the internet.
Finally.
All right. So you guys had just murdered an innocent person.
I mean, technically no, because when you shoot a Rakshasa, they just reform in hell, right? That's correct. Like some indeterminate amount of time later.
That's the idea.
Yeah,
so he
he's-
teleported an innocent person.
Right. He's
Well,
just gone.
Let's see
He's
if
not
the
actually-
authorities of Dunfoss see it that way. So go ahead and take the benefits of a long rest.
Right from the get-go, huh? All right.
Okay. Were we taking a long rest?
I assume so, because everybody was heading back to the barge after murdering my innocent NPC who did nothing wrong.
Yeah, like we went to take a.
I mean, I wasn't planning on taking a long rest.
What were you planning on doing, Destil?
Alright, so here's the plan. Wait, are we
What's
live
the
yet?
plan?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we.
Okay.
Bit live.
I
No.
don't know. I apparently missed that announcement every week now. Alright.
Okay.
So, Lucius, myself, and Gus are all gonna head down to the docks and talk to the
Okay.
captain. Because he knows about magical bullshit. And he has a lot of political power.
Does he?
He has potential political power. Florian and Seeker should go and make sure that kid doesn't murder their parents.
Okay. I like that
That's the
plan.
whole plan.
I thought Seeker had a separate plan.
Well,
He declared.
I think this plan is pretty good. Like, I like kids not murdering their parents, personally.
Listen, if you don't remember what plan you had, just admit it.
I don't even remember announcing I had a plan.
Never admit failure. Ever.
So by the captain, you mean you're going to go speak with Ten Sails?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of a different guy. Okay, that makes more sense to me.
Wait, who were you thinking of? What captain am I forgetting?
Crunch. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know why you were referring to him as the captain, but for some reason I was picturing the whatchamacallit guy, the Triton.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Not as much clout right now for him, I think.
Right, that's what was throwing me. So this plan makes more sense.
And who is this guy who's going to murder his parents?
The young nobleman who was addicted to the what did decide the name, whatever that powdery like drug was. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, he's addicted to drugs and had been given
Dragon
demonic
powder.
orders.
Okay.
But he had crossed off all the things on the list, but then
Except
had
murder
like
father.
yeah, except for murder father, but then had like paused and hadn't done anything for a few days, which to Seeker's mind says maybe he's having second thoughts.
So
This Seeker, you're going with who?
Florian.
Florian.
Who?
they're going to do a Saturday morning PSA. Don't do drugs, kids, and don't murder your father.
I don't care if he does drugs. He can do whatever drugs he wants.
I don't care if he murders his father. Let's be real.
So you're the perfect one to go on this mission then. It sounds like.
Absolutely.
So is the plan to go up to the manor house, announce yourselves?
Yeah, I think we should what's our angle here? Let's
Huh.
what kind of connections do we have with this kid? Beyond any. Let's just go up to the manor house, announce ourselves, and essentially let's go with the truth this time. Let's say we've been investigating this demon. We found some reference to his plans, and we're here to make sure that they're not carried out.
Okay. This would be the Guilva family. The son's name was Jocelyn, and his father, the patriarch Frederick, had him working as essentially working the slop bucket at a food vendor near to the manor house. Jocelyn had struck a deal with him. Hey, if you don't make me actually do this work, we could split these drugs that I have access to.
Yep.
Right.
Which he will probably no longer have access to.
Arriving at the manor house, one of the servants greets you in the garden. And as I recall, Seeker, you gave these servants all kinds of hell.
Oh yeah, but they don't know that, so you know.
The story that you receive from the Guilva's manservant is that the family is indisposed, is not receiving visitors today. Go ahead and make me a... You said you were going with the truth. Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Uh-huh. That's bad. That's a 1.
A 1? And
Yeah.
that's as far as the story goes. He seems pretty somber, and he seems in a fair hurry to try to get rid of you. But he makes it clear...
I ask if there's been a death in the family.
Yeah.
No, there hasn't.
Oh.
Then I tell him that there likely will be one unless he lets us through.
What is Florian's response to that? Like, what's Florian's demeanor?
I think it's the same demeanor he always has, just poker face.
Okay.
Listen, I have to roleplay a 1 persuasion roll.
Make a charisma intimidate check.
Much higher number.
When you threaten the man, He immediately backs away from you, out of the garden, into the house. And the door closes in your face. And there is no longer any response.
And Seeker pauses for a moment and rethinks what he had just said. And realizes there may have been a miscommunication here.
I don't know how Florian would react to this.
Okay, well... let's go with Plan B.
Do we have a plan B?
Coming up with one.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the responsible players...
You know what? I take offense at that.
Why?
I don't know. I'll let you know.
It's just true. Been playing for 10 minutes. I've already had a butler. His life is in grave danger now.
It's not in grave danger. He just thinks it.
Sigurd Tensails and his entourage are being put up by one of the wealthy merchants who lives close to High Courts Harbor, where Tensails' boat is still docked. What's the highest passive insight amongst the three of you?
Mine's 17. Oh, wait, I reloaded the wrong character. That's Nath's passive insight. That'd be nice.
That's not just the wrong character. That's like the wrong character 3 years out of date.
Well, it's still in the little character thing, so if I just misclick, that's what happens.
Why was Nap's insight so high?
Why wouldn't Nath's insight be so high?
He was like the Harmonium
He probably
Inquisitor.
took 2 feats, and like I think Wisdom was the second highest score. I bet he took 2 feats to increase it. Nath was monstrously paranoid.
See, that's the thing, is I assume
Flumph
Nap
all
had no
by
idea what
himself.
anyone was thinking, because he always assumed the worst.
Man,
10 for me.
Okay,
8.
9.
not so. It's okay.
No danger sense among us. Everything's fine. I think I would love to see like just all of Destil's characters running like
It's all in the same game.
just all in the same game.
I already tried
Smack.
that once, it's not as fun as you think.
I wonder if they would get along.
I think Red would probably end up poisoning everybody.
Like, yeah, Nath would do okay with the snake monster. Red
Nap
shows
just
up
feels
like,
relieved.
hey, let me tell you about my friend Griagro. He just lives down the way here. You guys have no difficulty getting an audience with Sigurd Tensails. In fact, he insists that it's been too long since he got to sit down with anybody from Flumph Inc.
Yeah, about a month or so.
Oh, we've been busy.
Yeah. Busy. Doesn't even begin to describe it.
Oh, I have something for you. And Gus is like digging in his pack, and he's like, this is a bill that Seeker wrote up some time ago. Something about like services rendered, and I hand it to him.
So is this information on the haste books?
Probably.
I don't even know what he's referring to.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I thought
Yeah.
we I could have sworn you like tried to like extort money for the guy that sold him, gave him the horses.
No, that wouldn't have been me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been you.
It would have been Nath.
I only extort money from people that we do something for.
Right.
If you want to go talk to Journey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to go talk
Okay,
to
hold on.
Journey,
Captain
like that.
Tinsel, stop the flying pig. 2,500 gold pieces.
Right, but that's what we're here to discuss, in addition to other
Right.
things.
Okay.
oh yeah, if you offered us 25,000 or 2,500,
Right.
go over there. Yeah.
Yeah,
we did
I
it.
know. And I just figured that Seeker would have been the one to write up the bill.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
No, you're in the right ballpark. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, so yeah, and Alex will kind of like hold up his hand, like we should probably explain a few things to him before we get to that.
Yeah, let's.
Let's start at the beginning. Remember how there was a warlock trying to corrupt a bunch of people and making all sorts of blowing up parts of the city their job, and we were hunting them down?
He recalls, yes.
Well, we just killed them. They were a Rakshasa posing as a Tabashi in a smoke shop, and now we need to make sure that none of the either hit their agents or any members of the Black Coats or the Moss Caps come looking for our heads thinking we murdered an innocent civilian.
Rakshasa, black jackets, and yeah.
He asks how many words in that sentence you made up.
Gus holds up his fingers like in like an O, like a 0. And like Alex never makes words up. He's very serious.
What details do you give him as far as you guys just bursting into the dead man's den and just stone cold icing a mofo?
I mean, I don't think I'm going to give him any specific details other than the fact that we shot him with a blessed crossbow bolt, and he disintegrated.
Do you tell
I
him?
don't think we need to.
Do you tell him
give him
who
that.
you shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only one Tabashi, I think, openly living in the city anyway.
Okay. He seems very grave and serious as you're explaining it. It's very deep in thought. He tells you that some of the tropical islands between here and Kiska, some of the jungled land masses, mostly unpeopled by humans, but they make for good way stations for a pirate ship that needs to mount repairs. So in his day, he's come across a few Tabashi, various tribes and clans on these islands, some of whom he's befriended, some of whom he knows to stay clear of. His dealings with Savad, in particular, he's never met the band in person, but there's been go-betweens between people aboard his vessel, his men who are still on shore leave after, what's it been, a month or so, more than that, who have been partaking of the carnal pleasures of the dead man's den, which Ten Sails, you can tell, does not approve of. He has no problem with his men getting blitzed out of their minds on whatever drugs they want to put in their system. What he has a problem with is them being manipulated with these mind-altering substances. And he's known 2 of his own crew have fallen in with a crew called the Gentlemen in Wharftown. And he starts describing this crew as though you guys wouldn't know about them.
Mm-hmm. I'll let him continue.
Just stone-faced.
He's convinced that the Gentleman uses, if you've actually murdered Savad, the Dead Man's Den as a recruiting measure. Getting people addicted to various substances, telling them that they wouldn't be able to continue getting their substances unless they started doing jobs for the Gentleman. And this is the problem that Ten Sails had, because he wants his cutthroats and rapscallions to work for him and not somebody else.
So do you think the Gentleman might come after us looking for revenge?
Well, here's Ten Sails' involvement. He doesn't know whether Savad was actually this Rakshasa fiend, this flying pig or whatever. Obviously, you have no physical evidence that he was. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here asking him for assistance. However, it does align with his interests that you've taken out Savad. He asks what assistance from him you need.
In my opinion, we have 2 things. One, we have some very important work outside of the city that we've been delaying to try and finish this job up. while we're gone, I'm worried about someone going after either our boat or our receptionist. And 2, if you have any way to independently verify that we've dealt with the flying pig, I believe Seeker wanted you to see this bill. And I'll take it from Gus and hand it to Captain Ten Cells.
Can you shoot me a link on Discord to your Hastebooks spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Send it to my... I guess just put it in the Flumph party
Yeah.
chat.
Hold on, I'm getting a shareable link. Discord is being slow today. There we go.
All right. So we're looking under contracts here.
Yeah.
Right.
He does recall quoting you this price of 2,500 gold. Because he recalls that it was apparently this flying pig entity that had attempted to kill him or some number of his men by putting giant, horrible 5d12 claw damage porcupine monsters on his boat.
Yeah, I didn't
That
know
is a thing that did happen.
He asks this business that you have out of town how long you expect to be gone for.
Probably about, 2 weeks to a month? I'll look at Gus and...
It's it would be like a week there by the road, but we're taking a barge.
Right, I don't know how long it's gonna
Carriage?
take to get through the... obviously there'll probably be something in the forest.
Probably.
I would expect us to either be back within a month, or we could issue you a sending within a month if we won't be.
What kind of absolute asshole would I be if you guys start going through this forest and I just launch right into the forest oracle?
I would laugh so
I
hard.
I
I
would be
wouldn't even
upset.
be mad. Wouldn't even be mad.
I
Nope.
would be upset. Not at all.
Wouldn't be. Do it, you cowards.
So, Ten Sails tells you, should the king die during your journey, he has no problem offering any sort of pardon or protection that the crown can offer, given the limitations of his new station, which he is to understand are vast indeed. If the king dies and he's named the new king, he will have great leeway to place Flumph Inc. under the crown's protection, to call off any investigation from the Mosscaps, the Blackjackets, any murder you may or may not have committed inside the city boundaries can be redefined or reclassified as protecting the city and its citizens and its crown. However, he says with some sourness in his voice, our good friend Maximilian Silverwolf seems to have an undeniable knack for clinging to this mortal coil. Apparently he has a great deal to live for. So any assistance that he promises you here today would have to be in his purview as Captain Ten Sails only.
Right, and in that purview with us out of town, again, the only thing I would think that I would be willing to ask of you is to make sure that no one destroys our home or murders our receptionist.
So here's the problem that he's having.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are gone for 2 weeks or a month, as far as he's concerned, that's him losing one of his assets in Dunfoss that he will not be able to make use of or have access to for the whole time you're gone. And then on top of that, he's going to have to expend resources to put eyes, on or around your vessel pay off the correct people to make sure the moss caps don't come around or get waylaid. If necessary, find some patsies. And he's willing to do all of this. But then he's poking at this bill in Gus's hand.
No, and Alex will be like, you know what? If you want to charge us back for that service, I have no problem with it. We can just... I don't know if that's worth what you would charge a week for it, but...
And with that, he plucks the bill out of Gus's hand, and he tears it in quarters, lets it fall to the floor. He says, then it's done.
Yeah, that's worth $2,500.
I'll make sure that you guys get out of the city safely, and I'll make sure that no harm comes to you or yours while you're gone.
Gus is like, do you hear that? And like, you can just hear this wailing from like Wallway in West Harbor.
It's the sound of ultimate sorrow.
We could buy mercenaries!
Seeker, suddenly your back hurts for just no reason.
I just...
His eye twitches involuntarily.
It feels like I got stabbed.
Your teeth begin to grind. Your knee.
Well,
begins
Captain,
to bounce.
it's been a pleasure as always. I have a barge waiting to take us out of the city. I have to meet up with other companions, get all my stuff off the ship, and I think we have to go.
Are there any moral or ethical lines that you would be upset if 10 sails crossed in the pursuit of this goal of protecting your property and your good names while you're gone?
Yes.
Yes. What is that line?
Murdering innocent people.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, innocent.
The definition seems to be very fluid, Treble.
Listen, Gus is putting no more thought into it than that. Don't murder innocent people.
Uninvolved.
Like, uninvolved. Yes, there you
That's,
go.
yeah, that's a good one.
Don't murder uninvolved people, please.
So 10 sails
Try
tells
not to
you.
commit it. I mean, Alex would if 10 Sails actually asks that, Alex would say, "Try not to commit any treason," but that's about it.
Light treason.
Yeah, some light treason
Diet.
might be fine.
Diet treason.
He leans back and smiles. He says, "Can the king commit treason against himself?"
But you don't wear the crown yet, so please take care in that regard.
It's only a matter of time.
Treason now with stevia.
I like to think that the people think of me as the crown elect.
Lucius holds up a finger, opens his mouth, and then says nothing.
Lucius, I see you're beside yourself with happiness. This is why I enjoy my dealings so much with Flumph Inc. You are amongst my most stalwart supporters, and for that you have my gratitude.
I am beside myself with something, all right, sir.
At this, he calls the owner of the manor house into the room and asks him to go down to his own stores and take 3 bottles of his finest vintage, for his friends from Flumph Inc. have a journey ahead, and he would not have them go thirsty. And so the owner of the manor house is strong-armed into making a gift of 3 bottles of excellent vintage for you.
Like, Gus is significantly happier.
Yeah, Alex will just bow, stuff that into the bag of holding, and then motion to leave.
Yep.
Gus is sad to see it go into the bag of holding.
Sigurd sends a couple of his men along with you as you go back to the barge. One of these men is enormous, easily over 6 feet tall, definitely a bruiser. And the other one, much smaller. And being somewhat familiar with 10 Sails and his crew, you would know that he does have magic users aboard. You imagine that is this man's talent. And it's with these 2 men that you guys can negotiate any sort of particulars about what they're supposed to do or not do with your barge while you're gone.
And Gus, unlike the last time, one of our most important patron won't show up and get beaten up. I think that was a very important thing to make sure wasn't
Yeah,
going to
that's a
happen.
stipulation we have to make now.
And Gus is going to whisper, "Listen, if he does show up, you can beat him up a little bit."
I'll wait for Seeker and Lucius to get back to give these guys instructions.
Okay.
Seeker and Florian, you mean?
Sorry, yeah, Seeker and Florian.
Seeker and Florian, did you guys have any other... Well, what was plan B?
Okay, here's plan B.
Yeah.
First plan.
No, this is the second plan.
Plan B.
We're on to plan B now.
We're on to plan B.
Right.
I am going to cast invisibility on myself.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go around back again and see if that back door is open. And I'm going to stand at the side of the door this time
Okay.
before making a foolish mistake.
The Seeker in the Dark. I just want you to know that while I do not understand why you insisted on threatening that kind butler, I wholly appreciate the fact that you've created a whole new truth for us to explore.
That's true. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
Going around the back. The back door is, in fact, open, and there's a great deal of steam and heat coming out of the back door. And you realize that you hear scrubbing sounds from inside the kitchen area. Peeking your head in?
Yeah.
Two of the serving women, the one of whom you saw early in the morning when you were here previously, and then a younger girl, are washing soiled sheets, linens, in a large wash basin with a scrub board out.
So when I was in here previously, there was like a secret little compartment that we found the note in. Is that compartment, if I snuck behind these people, would I be able to get access to that compartment?
It's possible.
All right. We're gonna hope. We're gonna hope and we're gonna pray. I'm gonna try to sneak over to that compartment and put the note back inside of it.
Okay. Make a stealth check.
Okay.
Make this an advantage because you are invisible.
I'm also gonna...
Because you do have to physically squeeze by these working women, but you're a gnome. You're very small.
Yeah.
It does have, like, ultra advantage because divination wizard, kind of.
No, that's still fine, because I'm pretty good at it. So that is a 11.
Okay. Now roll me some percentile dice.
Okay. Left is 10s. 33. Didn't
33.
matter.
Sneaking over to the corner is easy enough, but as soon as you get over there, one of the doors to the kitchen area opens, and one of the other serving women enters the room with another armful of soiled linens. And people in the room are worried. And what it seems has happened is the young master of the house has fallen gravely ill. And you can smell the stale vomit and excretion coming from the soiled cloth. Right now he's upstairs sweating profusely, and they're trying to get his illness under control.
Huh, that's extremely good information to know.
The debate right now is whether or not the representative of the Fydruashad that they sent for is going to arrive today or tomorrow. There seems to be some quibble about previous payments that wasn't made on time.
Who are the Fydruashad?
The Fydruashad is the magic guild in Dunfoss concerned with healing.
Okay.
And you very nimbly lift the floor tile up, slide the note back in, and replace it with your fingerprints all over it.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. And I'm going to try to sneak back out.
What's Florian doing during this time?
What is Florian doing during this time? He is standing outside, watching, making sure everything is okay, and if he thinks Seeker is about to get in trouble, do something about it.
Make a perception check.
I've got perception.
Should hope so.
No, I don't. Well, it's a 9.
Okay. Things appear to be okay.
Very well.
He doesn't notice the butler like looking up through the blinds. Like, he's still out there. This is
Yeah.
scary.
That's probably what's going on.
And after a few moments, Seeker returns to you invisibly. So I guess you don't know that he's returned to you.
I'm gonna dismiss the invisibility while I'm around the wall, so that like anyone looking doesn't see me suddenly appear next to Florian.
Okay, you do that.
All right.
Oh, have you found?
So
anything
Florian, I
out,
found some
Seeker?
very interesting news,
Hmm.
and I think we should go talk to the Phaedra Rashad.
Okay. What did you find out?
Here, I'll explain on the way,
Okay.
and I will do so.
Okay.
Now, do you think his illness is related to drug withdrawal, or?
I
the
think
fact
it's some
that-
sort of withdrawal.
Yeah.
You say withdrawal?
Withdrawal. I think it's some sort of withdrawal.
Say-
Drawl. Drawl. It's
Withdrawal.
drawl.
It's a. I don't know why we're having trouble saying that word, but
It's
we are.
withdrawal.
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 I mean, he almost
withdrawal.
certainly is drooling up there.
But we think it's related to the flying pig as well, don't we?
Yes, that is my supposition.
Hmm.
And I think that might be a very difficult prognosis to give.
Mm.
And the 5 of you return to the barge. What's
I'll
next?
say, I'll look towards Alex. I'll say, so are we good to leave?
Yeah, these two gentlemen are working for the Captain Ten Sails, and they're going to be making sure nobody attacks the boat or Linda while we're gone.
And they correct
I
you.
have-
They say, he does prefer King Ten Sails.
Correct, King Ten Sails.
That was very generous of King Ten Sails.
It was in exchange for the money he owed us. Is pretty much evened out. I figured keeping the place in one. This boat's got to be worth more than that. And Alex is already on his way down to his workshop with his bag of holding to make
Wait,
preparation.
what?
What?
Gus puts his hand on Seeker's shoulder. Says, "I know."
That was.
That was a lot of money.
I know.
And Seeker looks at the two people and says, "Do you each consider yourselves to be worth 1,250 gold pieces?"
I mean, I personally, hold on, let me think.
The small man and the large man exchange glances. The large man...
I mean, I know I'm worth at least 6,700 to,
He was
Not
talking.
asking you, Alex.
oh, okay, sorry.
The large
I
man noisily blows his nose on his shirt sleeve. The small man crosses his arms and smiles. So I believe I'm worth considerably more than that.
Well, I'll be expecting you at your best then.
Yeah.
The
Seeker visibly takes a long breath.
two of you are under, and I'm going to point at Linda. She's your boss while you're here.
And he just shakes his head and says, it's not true at all. King Ten Sails is my boss.
King Ten Sails is your boss, but for the time being, you will be the new Kevin. So.
She's your supervisor.
Right.
So, are you guys hiring, like, you want these guys to house sit?
I guess.
These are the barge sitters?
I mean,
There are
you
new
know,
interns.
Watch on things, make sure no one blows up the barge or tries to murder Linda. That sort of thing.
1,250 gold. They
what's
better do
today's
whatever they
date?
need to.
Rick,
I mean,
what's the date today?
Today I do believe is the 13th. I will double check that for you.
Okay.
Listen.
Today is the 13th. Yes.
Okay. I'm also going to give Linda 30 gold pieces, which is her salary for the rest of the month.
Okay.
And we're actually going to take the rest of the and I'll leave what? We'll leave 200 gold in case she needs anything. We're going to have to take the rest of the petty cash with us
Why?
in case we need money.
In case we're
Yeah.
skipping town.
We're on the road. We're on the road.
We're just
I
gonna
mean, if
skip
you want,
town.
we can transfer it into a banknote and just bring some of it with us. But
No, I mean, this is fine. I understand your reasoning now.
2,500.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
What standing orders do you leave with the barge sitters regarding Choreo?
Well, Choreo knows we're going, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Leave
Okay.
it to Linda. Like I said, Linda's in charge.
Okay.
yeah. Let Linda deal with any clients. That's definitely one of our standing orders.
And Florian also gives very detailed instructions on how the Flumph statue works and how it should be used.
Oh no.
Not at all. Alright,
It's a really cool magic map.
we gotta split up again before we leave, though, because we have a part 2 of the mission you sent us on, Alex.
Sure. I'm gonna take a rest then. Everybody meet. I'll tell everyone where the barge that we're, the trading vessel we're going departs.
Are you leaving
need
at
a rest?
night or are you leaving tomorrow?
I can take it long. How long do you think it's gonna take, Seeker?
I would prefer your help if possible.
Oh, yep. All right, let's go.
So are we leaving tonight or are we leaving tomorrow?
I think we're leaving tonight after we deal with this. It sounds like
Yeah, tonight.
Okay.
Seeker does no plan. It's gonna take longer than a couple hours.
Can I have some petty cash?
Yeah, I'm dividing it up right now.
Okay.
Alright. So, same split up, I think. Swapping orders. We didn't make the best first impression at the townhouse. So, if you guys could go talk to them and let them know what's up, I have some information that might be helpful to that. And one, kid upstairs is sick. Some sort of withdrawal, probably demon withdrawal. I don't know if that's a thing. Question mark. Seems like it might be.
That sounds like Gus's area of expertise.
What?
Medicine.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Two,
I have like withdrawal. Like what?
the note incriminating the son, if you need to convince someone in order to get inside, is in a cupboard underneath the kitchen floor, and Seeker just describes where you can find it.
Okay.
So everybody has 243 gold pieces. I've updated your wealth on hand in Flumph and Haste books if you want to take that out and put it in your personal character sheet. That's where I track my money.
240.
Put that information on your character sheet and make sure you know what denomination of coins you're carrying.
Still
Do
love
I have
that
time
movie.
on the way to exchange some of these for platinum so I don't have to carry a ton of gold?
Yeah, if you want.
Cool.
It's going to be difficult to find anybody who can break a platinum on the road, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to do all of it, but...
Alright, and Florian, let's go to the Phaedra Rashad.
So think of the Phaedra Rashad. I mean, they have a headquarters probably in the Palace District.
Yep.
But think of them as having like little clinics and practices and things all over the city, running the gamut of the whole economic scale of Dunfoss. So, like, I mean, are you going to like a little witch's shop in the
We're
shallows?
going to the headquarters.
So you're going up into the Palace District.
Yeah.
Make both of you.
Yeah.
Perception or insight.
Perception or insight.
Alright, I'll make an insight.
They are both the same for me. Jeez.
That is a nat 20, 23.
23.
7.
And what was that? Perception or insight, Seeker?
That was insight on me.
Okay. As you close in on the palace, I mean, coming through, moving back and forth through the town throughout the morning and into the afternoon, there is word starting to spread that a murder has occurred in Wharftown. There's not much of a noble presence in Wharftown. Not many noblemen make their homes there. But the rumor you're hearing is that a noble has been murdered, and the physical description is in the ballpark of Alex and Florian.
All right, Florian, I think you should sit back on this one. Maybe
I
head to the
agree.
barge, buddy, and get ready to
Yeah.
get going.
I agree. That sounds like a fantastic idea.
So, Seeker, what is your intention with the Fydrua shot? What are you attempting to do?
I'm going to essentially... My goal here is to impart 2 pieces of information and get out of them whatever I can. The 2 pieces of information that I think are valuable are that if they find any... First of all, that there's people who show the symptoms, and I'll describe the symptoms that I heard described to me, that suddenly occurred earlier today, could be being caused because they either, 1, have lost addiction, have lost their supply of a particular drug, and I'll describe it, or 2, because they had a fiendish connection to a fiend which has now been severed. And if they question like how we know anything about that, I'll give them the card. Like, hey, we have been doing this for a while in town. Like, you've probably heard of us by now. The other piece of information that I think is
Do
valuable,
you introduce yourself as one of the members of Flumph Inc.?
Yes.
Okay. Speaking to one of the lesser acolytes at... Where would this headquarters actually be? It would be in the close to the Palace History, I expect. Many, many years ago, this might have been a temple or some kind of religious site that has been converted over. So the area you're waiting in is like a large area with a fountain in the center of it that is currently dry. It gives the area kind of an eerie quality, like something is missing. And when you're speaking to one of the lesser acolytes of the Fydrua Rashad, you have some information to impart about a potential medical crisis undertaken in where? In West Harbor? West Harbor.
Just the city, because that's the part 2. Like, the part 2 of the information that I think is useful to provide is that if they find somebody who is suffering from these symptoms, then they should be considered a potential warlock and treated accordingly.
But before you get to that point, you introduce yourself as Seeker of Flumph Inc., yes?
Yes.
At that point, the acolyte asks if you'll forgive her rudeness for one moment. Beg her pardon. She goes over. What's your passive perception?
My passive perception is... better at insight. 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
Speaking with one of the other acolytes on the other side of this large open area around this fountain, and they both continue to look back at you and then at each other as though they're trying to figure something out. And then the acolyte comes back and says, we've decided to bring in one of our higher level doctors, one of our surgeons, to speak with you about this issue. If you'd be so kind. And she motions over to a stone bench just on the side of this fountain in the very center of this large converted temple, very far away from the gates.
And so give me 1 second here. Okay, I'm outside the wall. I'm near the walls right now, right? Because I just went in kind of through the door.
No, you've entered the
gates.
walls. You've entered the walls into this large yard area with a dry fountain in the center of it.
How far in am I?
Probably a good 40 or 50 feet.
And I'll kind of think about it for a moment and then nod and say that sounds fine. So they were pointing me away from the gates, but like, is it closer to one of the walls?
Originally, you were speaking to this young acolyte close to the gates where you found her. She was the first person you found as you came in off the street.
Yeah.
After you introduced yourself, she went and spoke to one of her associates, and when she came back, she directed you further into the courtyard, closer to where this large dry fountain is. So you're about equidistant.
But before I go further in, I'm closer to the gates. Here's what I'm hoping to do. I'm like to throw this out there. Is I'm a little suspicious that they're about to call the guard on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get within 30 feet of one of the walls so I can summon my familiar, which, as far as I can tell, has no like verbal, somatic, any kind of component to it. Summon my familiar on the other side of the walls to watch to see if anyone's coming. Because if there's a guard coming, I'm out of here.
That's the palace district. There are guards everywhere all the time.
Right, but like, if one looks like it's about to come through the gates, following one of these people, one of these two guys.
Okay, you have to make a decision, Nodal. Do you want to stay and talk to the Fydru Rashad, or are we cutting it? And you're...
Am I out?
Are you
I'll
out?
stay and talk to the Fydru Rashad. Let's find out.
Okay.
I think
Florian.
that this information is important enough.
Florian,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
where did you go after parting with Seeker?
The barge.
Back to the
Where
barge.
the nice, strong, burly men are who like to thump heads.
And the other three went back to the Guilva estate. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Doing what? What's the goal?
Just
I think what we do is we go there under the auspices of Warlock insurance and Warlock investigation, and say we've heard some very troubling things about this, and we would
Look, our only goal is to keep the kid from actually killing anybody, right?
right,
And the kid's like, well-to-do noble, right?
right.
So we can just get him thrown into jail for a couple of days for something?
I mean, he's puking his guts out, which means that his supply is not coming. Either his dad caught him and using it again and has cut him off, or that cure that we were told that the alchemist here that she makes, did it have the side effect? Did she mention any side effects for that? Like, is that could be why he's puking his guts out?
Well, he could be puking his guts out for any number of reasons. You'd have no way of knowing without getting in and, essentially making a medicine check.
Well, I know, but I'm like, my question is I don't remember exactly if she said there was any side effects from like the detox of that she gives. Is the question I had.
It's possible.
So here's my thought: is Lucius, do you have invisibility or anything? I'm tapped. My thought is we go in there, we take the note, and we just put a new note saying the flying pig is dead, renounce his plans if you want to live, and then we get out of here.
I do not have invisibility now.
You have a better plan?
I mean, my thought was going under the auspices of Warlock insurance.
I think we should just write the note. Like,
Okay.
write a note, and then like just explaining the situation, and let's just give it to the butler.
Okay.
Like they don't want to let us see anybody. We don't have to talk to these. We just have to pass the information along, right?
Just let them know that, yeah, let's
Like,
just put everything down. Like, this is a rich, noble kid. They're going to keep him from going to jail or anything for this. We don't need to worry about the repercussions being too harsh. We just make sure somebody inside that building knows what was going to happen.
Right.
Do you put in this note the location of the hidden tile that Seeker has been messing with?
Right.
I don't think so, because that would indicate we've been in their house.
Yeah.
And that's illegal.
Yeah.
To whom it may concern, we broke into your house and then...
So we should,
Illegal search and seizure. What's that?
we give them like, hey, listen, apology notes, man, they work.
Okay, so you're writing a note to the family explaining the situation, handing
yeah,
it over to the butler.
I think we should leave out that he was asked to murder his father, because we don't know if the kid was actually going to go through with it or not. That might have been something. Because if the kid was like, "Oh, like heck yeah, let's murder dad," he would have done it already. It might have been something he's been grappling with.
That's what Gus did with his father.
Gus's father's dead.
Yeah,
So-
and now we know why.
All right, if you think that's a good idea, Gus, let's go with it.
Yeah, let's give him the note that says the supplier of the drugs is dead, or is no longer a concern. Do we want to actually use the term dead?
No.
Okay.
No.
No longer of concern, and so. Just tell your son that. He's not beholden to that guy anymore.
And
And
the
then we
note
get the hell out.
is delivered.
Uh-huh.
Florian,
That's me.
upon arriving back at the barge, the large man is there. The smaller man is not. And you're informed that shortly after the five of you left, after they got acquainted, what's an example of foodstuffs on this barge that Florian would rather this man not eat all of? Because he's eating all of it. He's got the whole jam collection pulled down off the shelf.
No, listen.
No, that's a different character. That's
No.
Gabriel.
Listen, Florian. Leftover chicken wings.
Wait, if you have leftover chicken wings, they must not have been that good. Florian, he tells you that shortly after you guys left, minutes, some moss caps came sniffing around, asking a whole lot of questions about some nobleman that's been killed in Wharftown. And that the small man left to take care of the issue, to make sure that they didn't get on the barge to turn things over or break things or basically do their jobs. He tells you that they looked serious and that if he were you guys, he would get on your boat and get out of town sooner rather than later.
So, I wonder what noble died.
Seeker.
I want to have been doing something real quick. Very, very fast. Seeker has taken some parchment out of his pack and has started writing down the information that he wants to get delivered, just in case he gets taken so quickly he can't explain this. Because he thinks this is important, information for someone to know.
You note that you've been sitting in this courtyard, keeping an eye on your familiar, which is what now? Some sort
It's
of...
Tressum.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The worst. You know what? No, screw it. There are poachers in the town, and your Tressum has been killed and sold into
Oh no.
an exotic fur shop. No. You notice a pair of black jackets arrive on the scene. And they don't come into the... I keep wanting to say temple, because it was a temple at one point. It's not a religious site anymore. Just outside of the gates, nearby.
Yep.
And so just outside of your line of sight from inside, looking in from the fountain. And you notice not moss caps joining these two men. But what are the name of it here? 3 members of the Silver Shields, which are Maximilian's palace guards.
Huh.
And as your Tressum is watching, notices one of the... Tressums aren't naturally invisible, are they?
No, they are not naturally invisible.
Notices one of the blackjackets staring at it, watching it circle around and around. And you see him directing 2 of the Silver Shields, who then leave, one on either side of the temple. On one side, there's an alleyway in between a couple of the buildings, and around the other side, around the outer wall of the courtyard, where it meets another road coming up to the intersection. And then he resumes watching the Tressum. What is the Tressum doing? Just circling?
Yeah, it's just circling.